Gosh, I started a long time ago as a dishwasher when I was in high school.
Mm.
And then after that, I wanted to be a chef. I always liked cooking. And I ended up going to culinary school at the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. From there, and during my school, I was educated and got an associate's degree in culinary arts, a bachelor's degree in culinary arts management. And I matured a lot in college. I really fell in love with the subject, and I ended up going to and getting the opportunity to go to Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana, where I received a master's degree in hospitality and tourism management.
That's great.
So after all that was done and dissertation was done, I got my awards. I went out into the business and I became a front of the house manager. I enjoyed working with people. I enjoyed the business side of it, and I enjoyed the guest facing part of it as well too. And so not long after I started, I was in Philadelphia for a year. I'm from Pennsylvania, so it was a natural fit for me to go and stay close to home. But the opportunity came about 20 years ago to come to Las Vegas. And that's where I spent the rest of my career here, all basically focused in luxury, higher end restaurants. 10 years with Thomas Keller, 2 years with Carbone at Aria, 2 years with Todd English's Olives at the Virgin Hotel, and 2 years at the Mayfair Supper Club at the Bellagio. First time I'm going through the high-end Japanese restaurant, but at the same time, the standards are all the same. This is really a culture of excellence that I found myself in once again. I felt very warm and welcome here. The learning of the new experience of the food and the terminology has all been very, joy, a lot of joy here, a lot of joyful experiences. I even brought my daughter here for her birthday, and it's great. She loves sushi. In fact, I like to tell my guests that this place it ruined sushi for me because the sushi here is so high quality. I don't eat sushi at the all-you-can-eat sushi places anymore, so I'll eat other things. But so from that standpoint, it just it's hitting a lot for me personally on all these really high levels, all at the same point between the food, the service, the drinks. I'm learning a lot about sake. I didn't know a whole lot about sake before starting here. My background is more wine related. And so to learn about sake and how it pairs with food is, the light bulb is going off a lot of different times. And it's sensory overload. The room you walk in, the music is great. It's fun to look around. There's a lot of things to see and notice. The room smells good. The food walks by and it makes your mouth water because of how appetizing it smells. And the staff, they're all professionals. And by that, I mean welcoming hospitality professionals. They're genuine and they're authentic. They're not just servers taking orders. They're here to actually guide a guest through the experience, and they care about each and every moment of it. And you don't find a group of people like that is committed to such a high level of execution very often. And I found it here. So cultural branding, obviously it speaks to the owner. The name on the door is Wakuda. Tatsuya Wakuda is his brand. How does he want his name or his brand to be represented? And what I just said with all of the touch points, he did an awesome job. And I've only been here 5 months, but the people that were here before me did a great job paving the way and setting the stage for all of this as well too. But once again, the brand is there, but people still need to be welcomed, and they need to be, if they have questions, don't make them feel like, they're they're stupid for asking a question. You want to be excited to teach people, turn people on to what they think is going to excite them in food or beverage related, and make accommodations. People are going to have allergies, or people are going to want to modify things. And so we do our best to be as many things to as many people as possible. The brand itself is Chef Wakuda's. And he wanted to bring a modern Japanese approach, and he wanted to make it fun. Okay. And he wanted it to be appealing for anybody that walked in the room. Everything from the guest journey, whether they're picking up the phone and calling them to make a reservation or they're booking online, all of that has to be very easy for the guest. And the guest has to feel good about that, right? And then when they arrive, we can't control if they got lost on the way here. Okay. Our location can be a little difficult for people to find. We can't control if they had a bad day in the casino or had a bad day at work. But once they're here and our maitre d' and our host team smiles and cordially welcomes them, that's when all of that stuff goes away. So you have to really, really genuinely welcome them. And then when they're here and we're guiding them through the restaurant, I toured you around this room the same way I tour a guest around this room. I point out the art. I point out the amenities. I point out our hours and the highlights, the open kitchen, the sushi. If there's a chef making sushi, I'll always introduce guests to the sushi chef because they're very interactive. They're very charming and they're very outgoing. So all of those things, it costs me nothing, just a couple of minutes of my time. And right away that sets the stage to the guest, wow, no one's ever shown me around a room like this and explained all of these things to me, and so we become guides as well. And so that approach, it's just, and if I do it, it doesn't matter if I do 10 times a day, 20 times, 30 times, it doesn't matter. I want that guest to feel like they're the only ones that are amazing. These chefs, pour their heart and soul into their food and these recipes. And all of that energy and effort can be disintegrated if in the dining room we don't fully welcome the guest or make them feel comfortable. All that goes away. So we want to make sure that when they're happy, they're always going to enjoy the food. Like food tastes better when you're happy anyway. So make us happy. I like to dine out to places that I can't necessarily or won't necessarily cook for myself at home. Okay. And I'm pretty good at home cooking. Okay. I've been doing this a long time. Korean barbecue is one of those things I'm not going to make at home. Okay. I don't have a grill in the middle of my dining room table. I don't have all the different banchan. When I make kimchi, it takes me 4 to 6 hours to make kimchi. So I'm not just going to do that and then prepare a big dinner. So for me, Korean barbecue is an experience, and it's fun and it's interactive. And from that alone, people, I think, are enjoying the social aspect of it, whether you're drinking or not. But I do like soju. The other thing, too, that at every Korean restaurant I've been to here in town, the staff has been very polite. They've been very genuine and authentic and kind. And that is also going to lead to its upcoming success. I mean, it's already successful, but there's going to be even more. And then the quality, very high quality meats and vegetables and soups and everything. The better ones are literally cooking everything from scratch or as close to that as possible, and paying close attention to the flavors. Maybe it's their family recipe, or maybe they learned through the business. But the quality and integrity of the execution is all there. It makes it very difficult for me to screw it up at the table. It doesn't, and Also, if the servers see a guest struggling or whatever, they'll jump in and assist too, in a very kind way, not in a way that demeans the guest or feels uncomfortable. So all of that is hitting all points right now from my experience, anyway, at the very least.
That's right.
I matured in school. It wasn't statistics 501 that made me a great person or anything. I feel like the classes that I took and the people I interacted with developed me in a way that set me up for success in life. Now, can you get that through working in the industry and the business? Of course you can. But what you put into it is exactly what you're going to get out. Certainly you can pay your tuition. You can study and get a B or an A. But what's all the other intangible things on campus that you can take advantage of that you couldn't take advantage of by just going into the workforce? And that's highly individual. Okay. But for me, going to school, I lived away from home. I had to pay my own bills. I had to figure out how to put gas in my car. I had to learn these skills in life, and those are skills. Those you have to be responsible to yourself, and get through it. And then if you had loans, once you get out, you got to figure out how to work hard and pay it back. And so there's going to be a motivation there to work hard, get as high of an income as possible, as fast as possible, so then you can get on with your life and do those things. So all of those things, I feel like it set me up. I hope it sets a lot of other students up, but I can understand school's expensive. If you have to work or maybe take a couple of classes instead of a full load while you're working, then that's what you got to do. But for me, it paid off. You learn things that you wouldn't. It forces you to interact with people. And then also group dynamics, all those challenging group projects that you get, there's value in that, okay? Because there's personality traits that you learn about that later on in life, you're like, oh yeah, I had to deal with this, or I had this challenge when I was in college because I did all the work and they got the same grade I did, and sometimes that's life, so the sooner you realize about the work and the integrity, and if you keep your head down and no matter what is going on, you hold your goals right in front of you. I don't care who's around me. I'm going to get the A. I'm going to work hard, and I paid for college, so I'm going to get the best grade possible because I want that's value to me. All right, and so it's also kind of nice to be a part of a prestigious organization that gave you that award at the end when you get to walk across the stage too. Some people don't care about that, but for me, it was important, to accomplish that. And that's why too. The computers itself, obviously, we run daily reports, and we live and die by our customer reviews. I mentioned people making reservations, and you can dive into permission-based marketing. I'm sure that's in many of your classes as well. We send all of our guests a text message with a link to evaluate us. And we gain that feedback, and I read all of those every single day that come in. And if there's a comment or something that we can improve on, I have a weekly manager meeting on Saturdays, where all the chefs and managers get together and we share collectively that information. It helps us. And maybe they need to change a dish, or maybe we need to change a cocktail or change a step of service. So all of that has helped us improve based on the guest feedback we're getting, because 20 years ago, we didn't have that. People would just leave and then they would complain and we would never hear about it or have the opportunity to fix it. So from that standpoint, it's making us better operators to really hone in and pay attention to feedback. Other things, cooking techniques have changed. We have a freezer that goes to -100, so that if they need to freeze fish for the parasitic controls, they can do that. Now, those have been around for a while, but not every restaurant has the luxury or could afford something like that. But the ovens, The combi ovens, the Rationale ovens, all of those things are, cutting edge right now, and who knows what's gonna help us. But that's not traditional. I would, these things just came out on the market maybe in the past 25 years. They're very expensive, but we get to have them. So the other thing too is we're in a desert. So technology has to be on our side to be able to get the fish we have, the seafood. We have both Japanese and Santa Barbara uni, which is extremely perishable. Live, well, not live, but freshly shucked scallops. It's called muki hotate. Not frozen. It's basically shucked, sealed, really, really cold, and then shipped to us next same day. Because you can't buy anything in a shell from Japan because of the import laws. So all of that has changed the way we do business here, especially in Vegas.